What do you think of when you think of summer? Hot sunny days, warm summer nights, vacations to the beach, camping, barbecuing, ice cream. So today we are going to do the quintessential summer book tag. It basically takes like items and then matches a book with those. The first one is Iced Tea, a refreshing book. So for me, that book was We Are the Ark by Mary Reynolds. It is a book about rewilding your yard. If you follow me on Instagram, my Instagram's down below in the description if you'd like to. I have a corner of the yard that I've dedicated to making as an ark. And an ark is where you just let whatever grows there grow. Like as the native plants return, it brings in pollinators and small insects and small little creatures. Helps to give back to the land instead of having just, you know, boring old grass. Honestly, I want my backyard to eventually be like a big food paradise. Each year I'm gonna plant more edible things and whatnot, but I did want to have a corner that I dedicated to rewilding. I only have one picture right now of it. I'll probably take a few more pictures as it progresses through the summer as stuff like sprouts up, but like there's flowers over there that are like super tall. It's pretty cool. And this book inspired that. I thought it was pretty awesome. You know, you could do your whole yard or you could just do a little bit. Every little bit helps. So the next one is Cotton Candy. And man, do I love me some spun sugar. Why is it so good? It's so weird how it melts in your mouth. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So this one is a book that is fluffy and sweet. What pops into my brain, I was like cinnamon buns. And I thought of Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This book is such a lovely, sweet and fluffy book. And when I thought of fluffy, as I said, the cinnamon buns, like the food or the pastries that's described in this book, it just sounds so delicious. And just how lovely that book is. It follows this orc, Viv, and she's done with her warrior days and she just wants to settle down, open up a coffee shop, get roots, be part of this town and have a community. And it's such a cozy and rosy read. If you haven't read it yet, you need to get on it. It's such a great book. Makes you feel good. The next one is Sunglasses, a dark book. I read a lot of dark books, and the most recent one that pops into my brain was Murder Your Employer, the McMasters Guide to Homicide by Rupert Holmes. And that is a dark academia book. And it's about, as it says, it's a school or university dedicated to deleting your target or your executive to be executed. Your final thesis will be to delete your target. If you fail, then you fail your college exam, but if you pass, you graduate. It was such a disturbing title, and I was like, this is gonna be either really bad or really good, and it's a really great book. I loved it. I have a standalone review of that, and I will link that down below as well. Alright, next is Picnic on a Rainy Day, a sad book. For that one, The Fires by Sigurður Hagalin Bjornsdóttir, it takes place in Iceland. It follows the story of this volcanologist, Anna. Iceland is on this whole plane of all these different volcanoes that are underneath Iceland that could go and erupt at any time. It follows the story of her and her family, the other people she works with, and it seems like there's some very strange volcanic activity going on. They have like these political people come in that start being part of this committee with them, so it's really affecting their decisions to like do their job, because the political people are all concerned about tourism and money. They don't want to like freak people out too much where there could be a very urgent emergency. Stuff doesn't go very well. People are not warned in time, and some really tragic stuff happens in this book, and it's really freaking sad, but it was also really good. It was a fiery and heartfelt and sad and emotional book. Okay, so the next prompt is Sand, a book that irritated you. I'll tell you what, this is a book that I liked, I thought was okay, but it irritated me, and that is Just Like Mother by Anne Hetzel. It's a book about this weird cult of motherhood people, and these two girls, they escape the cult and years later are reunited. Weird stuff starts happening. The one girl seems real like shady and weird. The main character is in such denial and so oblivious. Very blatant things will happen and she's like, oh no, that can't be. She can't mean that. This can't mean that. And it was so ridiculously the denial of how obvious these things were that it drove me insane. It made me think she was like the stupidest person in the world. She didn't seem that stupid, but she was very freaking stupid. How brain damaged you have to be to just deny things that are right in your face. That book irritated the crap out of me. Okay, so the next one is Summer Blockbuster. Favorite book to screen adaptation? I would have to say Sandman by Neil Gaiman. The graphic novels are fantastic, but the way that they did the series so far has been amazing. One of the best things I've seen. Second to that would definitely be Lord of the Rings, but Sandman, so good. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check it out. It's amazing. Dropped Ice Cream. Aww. A book that you were anticipating that was not good. I think Cursed Bread. I thought that book was gonna be really cool. And it's up for like a women's Booker Prize or one of those prizes. And it was all about this town sinking into madness. That's what it was sold to me as. And it turned out that's like the smallest part of the story ever, and it follows this person who is kind of delusional and has this weird obsession with this couple. It was more about them than the town sinking into madness, which was kind of a bummer. If it had been described the other way around, I probably would never have picked it up and read it, but I thought it was going to be really good, and that was a big disappointment for me. Wah wah. Palm Tree, a tall book that you loved. So I'm taking tall to mean like a fat book, a large one. And so recently I read the book The Insatiable Volt Sisters by Rachel Eve Moulton, and that's about 400 pages. So I would call that pretty tall. It's pretty chunky. And it was such a great summer horror beach read. It takes place on an island in Lake Erie, and Lake Erie is super weird to begin with. It follows this family, the Volt family, and they have this messed up family background. Women go to this island and they disappear. The house the Volt sisters live in is haunted. It's a crazy story, and it was really good and I loved it. The next one is Bonfire, a book that you want to burn. Okay, let me be clear here. I don't want to burn any books. But if I had to, I mean, The Curator by Owen King, that book was such a disappointment. It sucked. I feel like I talked about it nicer before. It just wasn't good. It's crazy because Joe Hill is such an awesome author. You know, Joe Hill is Stephen King's son, and Owen King is also Stephen King's son. And I haven't read any other books of Owen's, but dang, was that one disappointing. It was bad. He had all these good ideas that he went nowhere with. He just like flushed them down the toilet and forgot about them. I don't even know. I don't know what happened with that book, but it doesn't feel like they edited it, or was people afraid to give him feedback because he's Stephen King's son. I don't know. This is turning into a rant. I'm gonna stop. Maybe, you know, some people might like that book. I didn't. Anyways, moving on. Next, Fireworks, a book that exploded onto the scene. So I guess I have to talk about a book that exploded on the scene that was like popular amongst booktube or people and whatnot. The Mook and Robot series by Becky Chambers, with A Psalm for the Wild Bill and A Prayer for the Crown Shy. Those books were absolutely fantastic. I love them so much. Honestly, two of the best little novellas that I have ever read. They're so heartfelt and beautiful, just so good. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. So, if you enjoyed this tag and you would like to do it, consider yourself tagged. And if you are a fan of tag videos, the next video coming up will be another tag video. So, stick around, check it out. And if you had fun hanging out today, hit that subscribe button. Come back, see me again. We'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.